There's 3 models that I've now defined in my business that I'm using in my book. So I'm launching a book at the end of August called The Conversion Train, which is all about how business owners and businesses can grow their business whilst they run their business. And I think there are 3 elements to this. These are ours, they're our IP that we've protected and developed. But the first one is what I call the core foundations that you and your business have to have in order to achieve success. And there are 9 of theirs, and we call that TRACKFARE. The second one is what I call the core skills that you have to have, which I believe are what I call the driver. These are skills that you need to possess yourself as a salesperson and a business person. I am aware that not everyone wants to be a salesperson, but they are skills that you need to have in order to be able to move forward. And the third element to that is what we call convert, which is a journey that you've got to take your prospects on in order to move them through that process. So what I'm going to do the next 10 minutes or so, I'm going to go through some of these elements, what they are, but these are what I know from my experience of dealing with our customers and my experience that over the years, foundations that you have to have in place, you have to have the skills, and you have to have the journey in place for your prospects to go on. And let me talk through some of those aspects now. So what do I think TRACKFARE are? The TRACKFARE are what I call the foundations for you and your business. And people say, are these relevant to me if I'm a one-man band, or are they relevant to my business and what I do? They are element. If your business is you, then obviously it's relevant to you. If your business is your brand, it's relevant to your brand. But these are the 9 elements that I think you need to have. The first thing is, are you seen as trustworthy? Does anyone know what this image is here? Does anyone see what this image is here? Yeah. Have you seen this? This is correct. This is a Russian model. Search on it if you get a chance. It absolutely scares the living daylights out of me. This is in Dubai. It's got no ropes, nothing at all. Tallest building in Dubai, who's basically hanging on to this guy's arm. And watch the video. It's quite outstanding to see it. And she's basically saying, I'm holding my life in your hands. And the idea behind this is trust. If you are not trustworthy as a business, it's one of the things that's so important. And people talk about referrals. People talk about what's the key message to get business. Referrals comes from trust and people actually trusting you to be able to do that. So I always say to people, if you're not seen as being trustworthy as a company and what you do as a business, then you're going to struggle. The second thing to me is about reliability. And I use this term around. Who remembers this, the old classic Skoda Favourite? Remember the old joke that we used to be saying about the old Skodas? Do you remember them? Why did Skodas used to have heated rear windscreens? So you could keep your hands warm while you were pushing it. That was the joke they always used to use, that actually the Skoda, but look at Skoda as a brand. They've changed their brand from where they were to where they are now. But years ago, if you had a Skoda, you were the butt of jokes because it was seen as an unreliable car. And if your business is seen as being unreliable and don't deliver on what it is you say you will, the chances are you're going to struggle to convert prospects on a regular basis. The third thing is, how approachable are you? How do you appear to people both on and offline? This isn't just about what you do as a person. How approachable do you and your business appear to people? And if you're not seen as being approachable, the reality is it's going to affect in certain cases what people think to you and how they think. And I actually use that example in it. And again, I'm on this journey myself, so trust me, I'm not perfected all of these elements, but actually the things that I've seen. When you go to networking sessions, how many people do you see that stand in the corner that just don't want to be spoken to, or how many people are open and want to be engaged with? How approachable do people see you? Do you display confidence? Does anyone know who this guy is? So this is Felix Bortgamer, who did the world record jump from space with a parachute. So he's got a parachute on here. I mean, this guy was just sponsored by Red Bull. Look it up if you get a chance. He is the world record holder for the highest person that he's got to the edge of the stratosphere and jumped with a parachute off that onto land on the ground. So the point being, that bloke had confidence that that pack there was going to open. And they didn't even know. They were televising this live on Google. They didn't even know if he was going to burn up as he entered the atmosphere. But the point was, he had confidence. And I say to people a lot about your business. If you are not confident in what it is you do and what it is you offer, again, it's going to affect the way people think about you. The fifth one is knowledge. How knowledgeable are you about you and your subject area and what you offer? And actually, knowledge is a key thing in whichever industry you're in. There's some amazing people in this room who've got skills in different spaces. Each one have different knowledge. And you've got to be able to display and describe your knowledge in the way that people can buy into what you do. Because generally, most people want to buy expertise from someone because they believe in the knowledge and skills that they have. Number 6, do people see you as being friendly? Are people seeing you as being friendly? Someone that people want to work with? They actually, yeah, I like that guy. He's a really nice, she's a lovely lady. I really like her. I really like the way she is and what she does. It's a key thing. Being friendly is important. Number 7, this is a really interesting one. Are you proud of your appearance? I had a customer, and have a customer who sells an amazing product. I won't describe it because they're not a million miles from here. But the product is £35,000 that they sell. And unfortunately, the person that sells it looks like Wurzel Gummidge. And my message to him is, it's going to be a challenge. Being honest, I won't say his name. I'm tempted to say his name, but I don't want to say his name. I said, it's going to be a challenge. Why? Because when he comes in, he literally looks like he's got an old polo shirt from the company that was made in the 80s. His hair's all scraggled. Nothing wrong with smoking, but it's just not going to. It's going to be difficult to do. Your appearance and what people see about you and display about you says an awful lot. And actually, that's again is not just about what you do in person. It's what you do look online. How do you appear in your collateral, your marketing? We were talking about deliverable with great collateral. It's really important that your appearance online is affected in that way. The 8th one, and I'm conscious of time, so I'm going to run through some of these, but actually, do others recommend you? I call it the TripAdvisor effect. We also see Google now do this. If you're not recommended as a business, how many hotels would say they've had one of these and do you know what, it's a nightmare because no one will come and actually work with me, even though I didn't do anything wrong. The reality is, I always generally think these sort of sites show up the level over a period of time. And actually, the reality is, if you're getting 1 or 2 stars on TripAdvisor and you've got 50 to 60 reviews, the chances are it's because you deserve it. And you know what? Tough to say it, but it's right and it's relevant. And actually, how people recommend you and how others view you and rate you in that way, I think, is fundamentally important. And the 5th and the 8th one, from my perspective, are you enthusiastic? Do you show passion? Do people think, do you know what? I love the way that person is engaged with me on that way. They're really great in what they do and how they do it. And if you like that dog there and think he doesn't want to go for a walk, then the chances are people are going to feel it's a challenge. So those are what I call the foundations, and you can agree, disagree. I'd love to chat to you about lunch, but those are what of my years of experience, have said these are things you've got to have in place to go forward. And someone has said to me, do I need all 9, James? And I said to them, it helps if you've got all 9.